In this video, we're going to be reviewing your Twitter profiles and other people can learn from it as well and hopefully give you a shout out. So what I did a tweet and I asked 4 questions. One was ask me anything. So I've done a video on that. Go check that out on my channel afterwards. And then also share your Twitter profile for review. So we're going to do that in this video, and coming up in future videos is share your GitHub profile for review and share your open source GitHub repo for review as well. So Twitter, your Twitter profiles in this video. Let's scroll down, we'll come back to the GitHub stuff later on. Okay, so here we go, Priyanka has shared their Twitter. So I like this, it's got a photo, you can kind of clearly see the person, and you've got a banner, which I think is great. You can see that it's a group of people, it shows that you want to collaborate and geek out with people in person and online. I think that's really good. Maybe add some words to the banner, like what are you interested in? Freelancing, JavaScript, whatever it is. I think it just, again, will just kind of hook people. Maybe 2 or 3 big words, just topics that you'll talk about. And you do say tweet about Linux, web dev, and open source. Maybe just put Linux, web dev, open source in the banner. Maybe not over the people's faces, maybe above them, maybe above the chairs. I think that, again, could help you stand out. And you can also maybe add a bit more to your bio as well. You've got a Linktree link, which is an extra 100 points straight away, so that's awesome. If anyone doesn't know what Linktree is, it's kind of like the open source alternative to Linktree, but better. Go check it out. We've got so many awesome features already and so many more coming soon. You have a pinned tweet, which I think is awesome. I think it's pinned tweet is super important. I would try and make the pinned tweet stand out a bit more. Maybe add a video to it or add a screenshot or something like that. I think that would, again, just make it pop, being different from the rest of the tweets below. And it seems you tweet quite regularly, which I think is great, and you've got different styles. So you had text, then you got on with image. You've got some retweets with quotes, which I think is excellent. Again, you're mixing it up, which I think is super, super important. Here you go, here's a screenshot of your terminal. Again, like, people like to consume content in different ways, so I think it's important to make sure you cover all that. I think you're definitely doing that, and haven't checked closely, but hopefully you're doing it spread out, so not like 10 tweets, I don't know, it's not 10 tweets, but like say 10 tweets in 2 hours, like spreading it out through the day, using something like FeedHive to help you schedule your tweets and like space them out so you can cover all time zones is super beneficial and important and helpful. The last thing I'll just say is on this tweet, it's great that you've given all these projects a shout out, and I get to see EddieHub Linktree in there as well. But 2 things about this. One, I would say putting a link, 1 or more links in the main tweet will kind of, the algorithm will kind of devalue that tweet a bit. They don't want people to leave the platform, which makes sense. The other thing I'd say was, no one knows what these projects are about without clicking on them, and you need to make it as easy as possible for people. So this could have become a thread. You could have had some tips at the beginning, why open source is important, why people should get involved. And then the first link has got its own reply to that tweet. And you could not just be a link, you could also maybe copy the description out of the repo about what the project's about. And if you wanted to add something about, I like this project because it's done in TypeScript, or there's lots of automation, or whatever it is. And then do a reply thread for each one of these. I thought then that'll be a lot better. But it's done quite well, which is great, but maybe it could do even more by breaking up for people, make people want to click those links, and the algorithm doesn't kind of devalue your tweet because you've got external links there. But I hope that helps. Thank you so much for sharing. Next up, we have Hacksoft, Twitter, this one. So Hacksoft is a company account, and I think company accounts are more difficult to grow. People want to follow people, but this is a great account. They've got a banner, which is great, logo. They haven't got a pinned tweet. I'll definitely say pin one. I know you have some awesome videos. So this is the video from your podcast, which I think is great. Also, you have these clips. I really enjoy watching these kind of 1-minute clips and then going to watch the full episode if it interests me, which is super awesome. But I did notice the other day that you do have Hacksoft turning 9. So you got all these clips from events over the years of people like smiling, happy, doing things. I think you should pin that. Like, that to me really makes the company, like corporate account, really personal. Like, right, there's real people behind this, and I can connect with these people and I can chat with them and so forth. So I think if you pin that tweet, I think the tweet will do better, but also I think the account will do better as well. It's just so catchy to have that right at the top. Just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's see what else we've got. Again, these GitHub profiles and repos we'll come back to later on. So next Twitter is Emmanuel. So Emmanuel, the banner looks really, really professional, really nice. The only thing I would say is the writing on the right is a little bit small. And I think the arrow is overlapping the writing, which again doesn't look great. So I'd probably make the writing bigger, move it up, use that full vertical height. I mean, this picture looks cool, but people can't relate to you. So I would say try and put a picture of yourself, if that works for you and so forth, if you're comfortable to do that. But I just think it would make you stand out. You got a bio, you got your GitHub link, somewhere close. I would probably make a bit more use out of that. I mean, I had funny stuff before, like 127.0.0.0 and stuff like that, or localhost. I think having the actual location really helps with time zones so people can see when they engage with your content. I think it's important. So that's what I would suggest. And you seem to have a lot of retweets, which is great that you're supporting people, so thank you so much. I saw one of mine there, but also have some of your content there as well. Try and maybe quote the tweet like other people have done. That way they get your thoughts, your opinions, because people are here to follow you and the content that you'd like to reshare, but you're very reshare heavy is all I would say. So I would try and create your original content and maybe add some of your original content on top of the retweets. Otherwise it looks good, keep going. So we have a Twitter from Jay, so let's have a look. So great professional banner, aspiring web dev. I think that kind of might work against you. So I would probably just say web dev. Like, that's fine. You're not saying super duper expert or anything like that, but I would just maybe remove aspiring web dev. Oh, aspiring, make it just web dev. It's great that you've got your name, you've got a good picture of yourself, you've got your location, you've got a portfolio. This is looking really good. You have a pinned tweet as well. And you said you made it with JavaScript. I think that looks great. I think it looks really, really good. You can see you've got lots of views there, lots of likes. Looks really good. You seem to tweet quite frequently, I think, as well. So let's just have a quick look. You do, which is good. Maybe a bit more frequent might help. Again, try and cover those time zones. Schedule some for the evening or for your evening, but it'll be daytime for somebody else. But this looks really, really good. I would definitely say just keep going, and after a few months, you'll even hone in your tweets and things that you like doing, things that other people like your content for, and then it will just get easier and better and it kind of exponentially grow. So on this profile, I think it's got a great profile picture. I think the banner is kind of just different to software engineering, so I would try and keep it focused on one niche. Tech and sport are quite different, so that's what I would suggest to try and do. And I'll try and also pin a tweet as well. And maybe add a bit more to your bio, like what tech are you doing in software engineering? And that might change, and you could change that in the future, but I think it's important. You want people to follow you, and they want to follow you for the content you'll be sharing. So if you're doing Next.js and that sort of stuff, then they know they're going to get that type of content. If you're doing Java or something else, going to retweet from me, thank you so much, I really appreciate that. And you haven't tweeted that much. Okay, so that's basically it. So you've been on Twitter for maybe like a week or so, or a few weeks. But I think it's important, just keep going. You're doing great, keep going, and share some of your original content. I think will be really good. People want to hear your points of view, your thoughts. So with this profile, I said all the way along, I think having a profile of you, I think just makes the profile so much stronger. It's great that you're doing 100 devs and you've got your GitHub link there. You could actually add a link separately to your bio. I would use the bio for bio stuff, and then have the link in your profile as the link you want to go to. You could put the link, could be your GitHub, it could be a Calendly, or it could be like a link free that lists the links that you want on one single page. You've got a pinned tweet that is great. I think you're focusing on tech if I look through your content, which is great, but your profile picture and your banner tell me something else. So I would try and focus on one niche, therefore you're going to get more people to follow you. And it's great to see you supporting lots of people, so that's awesome. And you're asking tech questions and so forth. And again, a lot of the time at the beginning you are going to be talking to yourself, but this will get better and easier as you go along. And you wrote, "Hey folks," which I absolutely love. You're doing like, "Hey guys." So 100 points to you, Mohammed. Thank you so much. So this banner is quite interesting. He is awesome. I mean, you're confident. I would probably maybe, why should people follow you? Like what are you going to be tweeting about? Pick 2 or 3 niches and put them in there. Is it going to be kind of web dev and DevRel and travel, like digital nomad? I don't know. But we'll probably get that shortly soon. So yeah, you've got open source Philippines, so you probably want to put open source in your banner, to be honest. Oh, sharing about security, tech, and open source and Web3. So put those in the banner. I don't think you need to tell people you're awesome. I think let people find out for themselves by your awesome content. But this is a great profile picture. You know, it looks really good. It looks professional, but not too over professional. So I think that's awesome. You've got your location. I would say pin a tweet. I think this is such a missed opportunity for people who don't pin tweets. But this looks good. A lot of retweets here, which is great that you're supporting people. But this one's good, not because it's mine, but because you've actually added some thoughts to your thoughts to it, which I think is important. So retweets are fine. I'm not saying they're bad, but if you could add your thoughts, people want to follow you for your opinion, your experience, your thoughts. So I think that would work quite well. Okay, you might not always do it. And you've got content for yourself here, and you're really quite frequent in posting, which I think is brilliant. So just keep going, and it is really gonna grow. And I like to tweet here already. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing. That's awesome. So Kunal, your profile, you're missing a banner. Like, this is a great opportunity to sell people on your account. So by sell people, I don't mean sell them something, but like, you know, why should they follow you? So I think a banner, even just with some text, doesn't have anything clever, would be really good. I really like the profile picture. It looks really professional, but you're still kind of smiling. It's not too serious. It's not like a passport photo where they, you know, always look kind of scary and so forth. So this looks really, really good. I love it that your bio is short and you kind of exactly talk about what you're doing. An extra 100 points for the link through profile as well. That's awesome. Pin a tweet. I think that's super, super important. And how often do you tweet? I think you probably tweet a little bit more. You've got some retweets in here, so it's great that you're supporting the community, but I think you haven't tweeted in probably like a week now. So I would try and tweet twice a day. I think that's really, really important. 12 hours apart, so you can capture 2 different time zones. That'd be on the dot, but kind of, you know, between 11 and 13 hours apart. I think would be super important. Schedule those far in advance. Therefore, it's a lot easier. If something's happening in real time now, then what you could do is swap out one that you've got scheduled for, like your next one's coming out in 4 hours, right? I've got something that's really important, I want to get out now. It's really topical of the current trends. So I'll put it in for 4 hours time, and the one that's in 4 hours time, I would then bump to the end of the queue and it'll go out in a few days, depending on how far you plan ahead. That looks good. So we're looking at Sid's profile. I think your banner makes me think, you know, it's more maybe a bit more about sports, but then from your bio, it's more design and code. So maybe try and like do something a bit techie, a bit geeky in the banner. And in your profile picture, covering your face. I know this is like a cool photo that everyone's kind of doing at the moment, taking a picture into a mirror and then the phone's of your face. But to be honest, I think it's probably best less for a tweet or Instagram. Like, people want to see who you are on Twitter. You seem to be very much into the memes, and you know that works for some people. It's something that I don't follow for memes. I kind of want the tech content and the kind of behind the scenes of people. I think that's really important to me. But people love this, and that's fine. And it's great that you know, you're doing some original tweets, and then you're quoting tweets as well, giving your perspective on those. And you retweeted one of mine, so thank you so much. But I think that's really good, and it seems to be quite consistent at the moment, which is really good. So definitely keep going, and magic will happen later on. I really like this banner. It looks really professional. I think this is great. Maybe the writing underneath is a little bit small. Try and make it a little bit bigger, right? You want people to see that. I don't think you need your name to be big. I'd swap those around. I'd probably have the niches, the topics you're going to be kind of sharing content on to be big, and then your name, they can see your name underneath. So I don't think you need it up there as well. Just my suggestion, but it looks really good. You've also got, you know, a bio about yourself. You've got a link for your profile, like I said, extra 100 points for you. You've got a pinned tweet, which is awesome, which is great. It's fairly recent as well. And you're asking questions, which I think is really good. At the beginning, you might not get a lot of responses, although you have 16, which is great. But yeah, we've got to keep going. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So this is great. I like how you're using the icons. This is yeah, super, super valuable. You know what you're doing. I think this is great advice you've given here with other people. So I think that is awesome. Just keep doing it. I see you had a gap here between the 28th and the 1st of March. How many days are there in February? Maybe it's not such a gap. But yeah, try and spread them out 12 hours apart, 2 tweets a day if you can. And by 12 hours apart, it doesn't have to be exactly 12 hours. It could be between 11 and 13 or whatever. It doesn't have to be exact. Yeah, looking really good. You've got different types of content. You've got screenshots, some videos, you've got some memes and just some text-only ones. So I think that's really, really good. This is an interesting one. I haven't seen anyone put like a kind of a profile picture, like a headshot in the banner. I think it works quite well. And developer here is covered, so you might want to, it says web developer. So I guessed it was developer, but actually it's web developer. So I would probably move that to the right slightly, or yeah, kind of move it around so it's kind of maybe slanted. I'm not a designer or anything like that, but yeah, try and not have anything covered up by that. And this picture looks good. It's hard to tell that it's you, it's quite far away, so maybe have a photo that's a little bit more closer up would probably work a bit better. You got your full name in here, which is great. And you've also got a bio and again, link free. Thumbs up, awesome. Got your location, which I think is super important. And you've got a pinned tweet as well, which is really, really good. Thanks for the retweet. Said, hey folks, which is definitely a thumbs up from me. Seems like what you're doing is great. Just keep doing it. I haven't got much more to say on this. It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint, so keep going. So Ayush, that banner is so funny. I love Java, really, really funny, really good. And it shows, what your content is going to be about, which is great. I wouldn't call yourself a noob though. I think you're not doing yourself enough credit. We're all learning all the time, every day, so I would probably remove that. And just what are you learning? Are you learning Java? Anything in particular in Java? Spring Boot, Hibernate? Try and be a bit more specific. Link free, that's awesome. You've got a pinned tweet, which is great. I think that's awesome. And you're sharing your 100 days of code, which is really good. And you've got a bit behind the scenes here as well, which I really like. Again, it makes it really personal, so I think that's just super, super cool. It seems like you're doing great things. You're giving tips. I would probably share maybe some technical tips or things you learn as well, which I think would be useful. They can be really bite-sized, don't have to be anything like super complicated. Otherwise, it looks good, keep going. Looking at this banner, you can see it's really clear. Like we know what we're gonna get. DevOps, open source, weekly thread, monthly blogs, learn in public, follow me. Like that's just straight to the point, and I think that's really, really good. You could maybe change the background in the future. The yellow is quite prominent, but I think it looks great. And you've got a picture of yourself. Again, makes it more approachable, and people can see that you're a friendly person and they can geek out with you. So it looks really good. You've got a pinned tweet, which is awesome, but it's not your content. You're kind of driving traffic to somebody else, which is great. We all give each other community shout outs. But I would think try and pin a tip that you shared. It might be a screenshot, it might be a little video clip of your screen, it could be a drawing, whatever it is. I would try and share something that you've created, because then you'll stand out on your profile, which is what you really, really want to do. Next profiles is Fred. I like the profile picture. You can see, they look friendly. You kind of want to collaborate with them and geek out with them. The banner, it looks nice. If you've taken this photo, then epic shot with the seagulls and the dolphins and so forth. However, it doesn't kind of shout tech to me, and that's what you're saying in your bio. So what I would say, I try and put something a bit more kind of geeky at the top, or maybe put some words on top of the current banner if you really, really want it. You've got a pinned tweet, which I think is awesome, and it seems like you've got lots of different content as well, sharing tips, sharing lots of information. I think that's awesome. So I think it's great. Just keep doing what you're doing. Maybe join some Twitter Spaces as well, especially with your experience. I think that would be good. Join them and go on stage and get questions from people and just chat with people. I think it's a great way to grow. I think if you did 2 relevant Twitter Spaces in the next week, you'd take your 142 to 1,420. Like you'd add a 0 to the end. Okay. We're about halfway through reviewing people's Twitter profiles. I think we'll do a part 2. Otherwise, this video is going to be so long. We'll do a part 2 very, very soon. And I've got my place. This is what we're going to get to next. Everyone, thank you so much for submitting your profiles. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe below if you haven't already. And I look forward to keeping out with you in the EddieHub Discord. I'll see you there.